Let's welcome a special interview with LaTonya Hopson. She's a Florida native and diversity advocate dedicated to building awareness of holistic wellness in the Black and Brown communities. LaTonya provides faith-based services for mental health, physical fitness, and emotional therapy through alternative methods. The owner and operator of top-notch sports and fitness, she educates and enlightens others to live a holistically spiritual, balanced lifestyle. LaTonya is looking forward to sharing her passion as a holistic spiritual counselor to engage others in diverse topics and empower individuals to walk their purpose authentically. LaTonya Hopson.
So I'm hanging out with my girl LaTonya, and I've got so much to talk about. You know, since you were on the show with me before, when you were on, what did we do? We did the lesbian takeover, right?
We did.
For Queer News Tonight, and we killed it.
Had a blast.
We killed it. I knew that I needed to get you on my show. I think that you were just like the full package of just power, beauty, intelligence, badassness, you know?
Same.
You're part of that girl tribe that is going to help me take over the world.
I took that role on with a great privilege.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And listen, Miss LaTonya's here. You know, it's a little chilly in South Florida. We get a couple of days out of the year. We get like, you're new to South Florida, so I will school you on this, okay?
Please do.
We get 4 days out of the year that it's cold. Everybody on earth hates us for it, and it is what it is. So you take out your turtleneck those 4 days, or your cute little leather jacket, and you make it happen. And you're covering up all those biceps and triceps that you've got going on today.
Keep the muscles warm just a little bit. I wanted to show them, but I looked at the forecast, and I was like, I don't know.
Oh, well, let's talk about how you got those incredible muscles. Tell me about your business, Top Notch Sports and Fitness.
I like how you say the name, top notch. Emphasis on top notch. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's a holistic business, and right now we reconstructed. And when I say we, I just talk about myself because I'm multifaceted, and I see myself working with many other people in the community, such as yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
But it's holistic, so of course it's going to talk about what the mind, the body, and also the heart. With a lot of changes that we go through as entrepreneurs or corporate leaders, teachers, mothers, wives, whatever, we have to make sure that we're establishing a firm foundation. And sometimes that foundation, as you know, Faye, has to change. And with changes, you need the right accountability in place.
And that's not always easy.
No, it's difficult.
Do you find that being the hardest thing that has happened? I mean, you're newly down to South Florida, opening up this business. What has been the hardest part?
Starting my business amid COVID. I moved here during COVID.
Girl!
2020 of March. Okay.
Literally.
Literally.
When the world ended, you moved here.
I was like, ugh.
Like my timing.
Yes, but it was divine, meaning that everything you did prior to this was to build you up in confidence to travel from North Florida to South Florida.
And prepare you.
And prepare me for greater. So I do believe that this is my season of greater. It's just going to take more stick-to-itiveness and humility.
And humility.
Yes.
I, you know, since the second that I met you, I felt that you've got a mission. Like, I don't know what it is. You probably know what it is, but you definitely have a mission here. How important is health for our LGBTQ plus community, especially the L?
The L. Ladies, love, lesbian.
Okay. All of that.
All of that. It's very important, mental health, because you have to break it down to self-identity first. So let's start there. Once I know who I am, I have comfort in having self-awareness. Once I have self-awareness, there's self-development. Where is she going with this? Because you have to know your foundation. It's your brand. Mm-hmm. You don't need anyone telling you how you should feel, how you should dress, how you should look. Feel your feelings, know what it is, and move forward.
I love that. How empowering, LaTonya.
It sounds
know
easier.
Your brand.
You know, it sounds a lot easier and it sounds good, right?
It does.
But how do we get there?
How do we get there?
So daily you have to say, this is where I am. Feel where you are, acknowledge that moment, and see yourself going forward. And for me, I give my praise and glory to God. Thank you for blessing me with this day. Thank you for these amazing gifts. Thank you for this beauty and charisma so that I can walk my truth in power, but be humble, but not downplay this gift. Never downplay it. And I think women, we may sometimes confuse, well, how do you really be humble and own it?
Like, how do you say, I'm that girl, which I am, hashtag
you do.
that girl.
Yeah.
How do you say I'm that girl, but then also don't sound stuck up or full of yourself?
Is it my fault for how someone perceives what I say or how I carry myself if my intentions are good?
No.
Now you have to have a healthy balance in life to understand what you're doing. Is it to be seen? Is it to be heard? Because then if so, you have to check yourself. Check yourself before other people check you. But understand healing is a process. So it's never perfect. So if someone says, I'm offended by how you entered the room or how you made that comment, well, thank you for bringing that to my attention. But my sole mission here is to encourage others to walk in their purpose.
I love that. So what happens? I come to you and I say, hey, I am a hot mess. I need to just, be centered and find my mission.
Ooh,
where do you go from there?
I like how you threw mess and mission in one sentence. So, within your mess becomes your ministry or can be your message. So let's really see how that can be a blessing. How we can turn that into a testimony. Your testimony is your purpose. What resonates with you day to day, what you do with your eyes closed, what gives you life. And that's what you need to find yourself doing more so each and every day. Fill the void with those things. Congratulate yourself and say, I am further along today than I was yesterday. And then that may mean changing your spaces, looking at different faces.
Yes.
Because you want to vibrate with people who are going to meet you where you are, meaning they're going to love you with grace. They may be on a whole different path, but they're saying, I see you. Let's grow together. Get your shit together.
Yeah.
Don't lower my vibration and we can grow together. I have learned that you have to be comfortable to be uncomfortable. Meaning if you want to be better, you have to get to know other entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Who are like, okay, you have to reestablish yourself, like we were talking off camera.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, okay, I'm definitely going to have her help me, just mentor me. And then I can also empower her in areas that she needs empowerment
But it's
with.
true.
But that's how it should work. And many times it doesn't.
Why do you think that is? Women are constantly pushing each other down, And I was told since I was a little girl, you are who you hang out with. Okay? Center yourself around people who are positive.
Yes.
Who give to you, don't take
give.
away from you.
Yes.
All right? We've all had those friends that are toxic.
Yes.
That once they leave, you're like exhausted. You know what I'm talking about? Where you're like, why am I so tired? Did I just take a class or
Like
something?
if they leave
why?
your house and you're like, oh my God.
Yes. Like I'm energetically depleted. How do you protect yourself from people like that?
We've made that a norm though, haven't we?
We have.
And I like the questions that you presented. Why do I feel this way after they left my presence? It should have been some type of receive and give, yet it was take. And now I'm exhausted, I am depleted and overwhelmed. So we start with boundaries. I notice that when you come around, this is how I feel. And I would like you to be around, but right now I will need some space to gather myself so that I can continue to move forward personally and in our relationship. In that space, you will know, okay, maybe on this day we don't need to see each other. Or on this day it needs to be less hours. Or we need to meet on basis of intentionality. Why are we meeting? Now, there's some people that you don't even have to say one word. Their presence refreshes you. You get what I'm saying? When you see them, you're like, oh, refresh.
Yes.
I love your presence.
Yes.
And that's fine. You should have friends who you could just read books with or meet up at the coffee shop or go through the mall and you are barely speaking like, okay, girl, we got to go here now. But it's the chemistry. And then there are some friends who need stronger boundaries. And it doesn't say that I don't love you. It says that I appreciate the history, but I found myself in a different chapter of life. And if we're going to go forward, this is what I need from you.
Well, I'm a firm believer that every relationship that you have, it's for a reason, a season, or a
now,
lifetime.
Now, this is true.
So true. Like, they're just people that you work with.
Yes.
That like after you got fired, usually the case for me, right? Then you don't see them again, right?
Or you resign or you move on.
Right. Or, a reason could have been that they were meant to introduce you to your your life partner or something like that.
Yes.
But everything has an expiration, like bad milk, and there's nothing wrong with that.
We still want to carry it.
We still want to carry it. We feel the need as women to nurture these friendships.
Release.
It's okay to let it go. You're telling me.
Let go because you're holding back your potential for that next level. When you're carrying too much on to the next dimension, your blessings will be on pause. And I'm coming to that realization. You have too much weight. If you're saying that I'm the light of the world that God's called me to be, check this out. You can't carry on burdens. You have to release it. So that means that
kind of like let go, let God kind of deal.
Will be drawn to your light. You just said that I have a mess that I'm turning into a message. So aren't you a walking, living ministry mission? So you can't really take everybody with you. And I like how you said that. Okay, you're at a job. Now your business has grown. Are you going to keep in touch with everyone? But how about this? They're not even supporting you in where you are. So don't feel guilty. And they can't. This is the other side. They may not be able to support you mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And financially, that's
You know
out
how
the window.
Yeah, you always got that friend. I ain't got no money. I can't go out.
I don't like that friend that when you go out, you want to treat them, but it's like, I'm never going to ask you to treat me, but I have to let those friends go.
And it's okay to do so. You're letting us know that it's okay to do so.
Yes.
All right. So that's got to be important. You've got to be important
That's
enough.
good. Yes.
To
yourself.
To yourself.
Yes.
Be good to yourself. You have to have a boundary within yourself. Everybody wants to be liked. Everybody wants to have friends.
But we need to be loved.
But it's not quantity.
It's not.
It really is quality. And a lot of people out there are just BSers and they're not, trying to help.
And that's fine. It's more people who want to be Cuban zirconians than what the diamonds.
Than that real diamond, baby.
And that's fine. That is fine. But we're diamonds.
No, we are diamonds.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of our bookers here at Happening Out Television Network, and they were telling me that they are talking to you about a health segment that's going to be happening on Queer News tonight.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
A bit for that, okay?
That's awesome.
Yes.
So what's that gonna entail? What's it gonna have?
A little bit of spirituality, a little bit of empowerment, going within through yoga, meditation. Through my years of fitness, I have a versatile background. I started at 18, so surprisingly, I am 32. So I've been blessed to do it all, and I am a master of each level of fitness. And so I will be providing those different aspects.
Yeah, but you go into even almost being a life coach, because this will change every aspect of your life if you're doing it correctly.
Correct. And that's what it's about. Some days I may not, feel like doing that cardio, but I have a list. I have a regiment. Let's put it like that. I have goals. You have to do something to keep you on that path. And eventually you'll hit every target, not for perfection, but because you're giving back to you. Wow. You're giving back to you.
So you got here and you hit the ground running during quarantine, which I can't even imagine. And you were like, okay, what am I going to attach myself to? I need to be of service to my community. And then you became a part of Afro Pride.
Yes. I
mean, how dope was that?
That was, but that was still later on. I like how you started this off with, you had to get yourself in that mind frame. So check this out. I had to go within, because when you are entrepreneur, when you are professionally driven, sometimes we can kind of attach ourselves to those attributes, right? So during COVID, what was I doing?
What were you doing?
What others were doing on the laptop, doing onboarding for her new job, working from a hotel while my apartment was getting ready.
Oh my God.
Okay, I thought it was the end of days.
It felt like the end of days.
All gyms were closed. I just wanted to lift the hotel furniture up. But you know what? Then I said, let's go back to the basics. Let's do body weight. I define my worth, and it's time to reevaluate. And that's why I love the self-identity, self-evaluation, self-development, because you can reset that. And resetting within myself made more space in a new area for me to be seen by different people in the community. And yes, I was so happy for the opportunity to be approached by Afro Pride as an advocate and someone to represent on their committee.
It's a wonderful, wonderful pride. I was super happy that they had it this last year. And let's talk a little bit about prejudices. Okay. Prejudices within the LGBTQ plus community against lesbians, against us as women. Have you experienced any discrimination? I mean, you being this Black, queer, beautiful lesbian. Have you encountered any discrimination in your career-wise?
No, not so much as being a Black queer woman, but I'm sure because I'm more bold with that now that I'm going to have some pushback, and I'm looking forward to it. But I can tell you that being a Black woman will prepare me for the Black queer experiences.
Okay. That totally makes sense.
And so it's like, okay, you're Black, you got to deal with that. You're a woman, you got to deal with that. And then you're queer, you got to deal with that. And then within queer, sometimes people say, oh, well, I have been brushed off. Like, okay, you're a lesbian.
We don't need to hear from you.
I just told you queer, And so then having to explain what that means, because I do understand that people just put everyone within the LGBTQ plus community in one box. And I feel like it's our job to be an advocate for who we represent, so that it resonates more so with others who need that self-identity in their confidence.
Yes. And that's why, I have straight friends that are always like, well, is it okay to ask? Yes, it's okay to ask. We welcome the questions. We want to educate. We don't want you walking around all ignorant.
Or
we want you to know.
Correct. That is so true.
Let's talk about your thoughts about social injustice. Okay. And I mean, BLM, you were down here already. How did you feel during those times?
My parents raised me to be open and to view things from a sort of diplomatic point. But then when it gets to a certain end, my parents also have raised me to voice your concerns.
I love your parents already.
And take a stand. And so it came to a point where enough is enough. What year are we in?
2022, girl.
What are our general standards within this country? Get an education, do well for yourself, and
have health care, all these things. These
are the bases that we're still defining.
Our basic necessities.
Each other by color, not character. Not what you bring to the table. That's more of your concern.
I feel like we've come so far and have come
We're going backwards more so with more information that we have.
How do you feel?
But I feel as though you can use your position, your business, the networks that you're on, your social media to be an advocate, to be who you were called to be. Because again, who you're called to be is your purpose. So you're denying yourself if you know that you have a strong message and you're not sharing that in the world. So before I became,
and you're denying the world too.
You're denying your gift. You're denying yourself. And that's, an abomination to your creator, to the universe, to all the things bestowed upon you. And for generations, it's bigger than you. It's about generational curses, generational trauma. And so that's really my focus with any nonprofit, any government agency, even through my business. I want to educate Black and brown, and then those that are not Black and brown. What are you doing to heal the wounds caused by generational curses? What are you doing to push forward as an advocate or a trailblazer within your community or similar like community? So to answer your question, I just took it as this is an opportunity for me to stand on a platform that I've kind of been doing throughout the years, but now people are going to be more so prone to pay attention because she's actually talking practicality. She's actually talking from a place of experience and truth.
We need that. We really do. Did you see Dave Chappelle's Closer?
I did. Was I disappointed?
Were you disappointed?
I was.
What did you feel?
I've been following his career for quite some time.
Me too, girl.
So it was twofold for me. Because in one act he did a few years ago, he made the comment, I have nothing against trans, and I get down with them. But then recently I had a different take on it. But I was like, okay, the comedian, if you got to see him in different aspects, it's kind of like, okay, was he just saying that for the moment to get the attention that he got? Or is that really where he feels now? So I just looked at it as, okay, well, if that's how he is as a comedic genius, then maybe I need to say, do I support this type of entertainment?
Got it.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and that's
because
tough.
Prior to that, there was no type of issue in my eyes with him. Okay, until recently. And I think that, okay, this was not the right time.
Yeah.
This was really not the right time to make that comment. And if you made that comment, you should have, dived a little bit deeper. Because you just hit a sensitive spot there.
Totally.
You get what I'm saying? And you left it open for your fans to say, okay, where did that come from?
And that's an objective perspective coming from a Black queer woman, because it's like, I did a little bit of stand-up back in the day, and I love comedy, and I worshipped Dave Chappelle, where, how they would always do stories about him doing a 4-hour set in San Francisco.
Yeah.
I sat through a 4 or 5 hour set with him.
Wow.
That's how good he was, LaTonya. I mean, and just effortless, and just trying stuff out to see what worked, and most of the stuff worked.
I think he was trying that out too.
Really?
It was a fail. It was a failed attempt.
But was it a fail? Because now it got a lot more people to talk about him. And do you find yourself being like, okay, I should support him because he is a Black comedian?
No.
And then it's like, but he's going against my queer community.
I just didn't support that comment. Yeah. When you look at his lineage and what he's accomplished and what he stands for, I don't necessarily just take that one moment and say, okay, I don't like Dave Chappelle. But I'm not going to say I support that.
You got your eye on him. You're watching.
Yeah. So if it happens again, okay.
Yeah.
All right, Dave. Yeah. Prior to this incident, I was a fan. But now, because there were things that he did to, talk about social injustice that were wild and crazy. That, the older generation would be like, did he just say the N-word? Did he just come on there pretending like he was a white man?
That was a funny sketch.
But I would have liked him to have addressed the issue and he just left it open. And so all conclusions were made like, okay, you have some type of prejudice towards this group within the LGBTQ community.
But again, like you said, now was that
But was the statement,
wasn't on purpose, you know?
Was the statement ever given?
Well, I mean, he just basically said, I'm not sorry for what I said. This is who I believe I am. Then he said he's a TERF, which is awful. And
okay, so again, I don't know how serious to take it.
All right, so Black History Month is right around the corner. Martin Luther King's birthday was recently. How do you feel that his history has affected you and our community?
Well, everyone, women, men. Isn't it amazing how many lives his legacy has impacted? But that's not his life, his wife, who's the architect of what his legacy has become over the years. So make sure your partner is someone you're aligned with.
I'm just be with someone that makes you look good.
Yes, but getting back on the topic, one of his supporters, Rustin, he was a gay Black male. And out. So sometimes he had to, as you probably recall reading about him, had to work from the outside. And many of his opportunities were, behind the scenes, but it was him who helped with the Freedom Riders. And
he was the one who put together the march.
There you go.
Right?
The first marches.
The first one. And I mean, if you look at his rap sheet, LaTonya, he had a ton. I mean, a bunch of times that he got caught with other men.
The branding of Martin
Luther King, yes.
But a lot of people don't know that.
Before social media.
And so I think he was one of the people who encouraged Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King to stand for human rights within civil rights. Because really, how can you separate the two?
Yeah. I mean, human rights there, another bare necessity. Something so bare and common that like you would expect us to just get for being human.
I think with Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King, we can all take this, learn and love.
Learn and love.
Learn and love. Because you can learn and it can do more harm. And I think when you said, how are we going back? Let's get to that. I think that's what's going on. We're receiving knowledge, but what are we doing? Are we just using it to tear each other down? Oh, I'm better than you. This group is better than your group.
I have more followers than you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, it's not. Listen, really. One of my favorite quotes from Martin Luther King is, I'm not going to do it justice, but you can't fight, you fight hate with hate, it multiplies.
That's right.
You got to only fight it with love.
That's right.
If everyone would just think about that, this world would be a lot different. So I want to remind our viewers that you are going to be on the Afro Takeover of Queer News tonight. It's going to be sometime this month and also on the 17th of February. How do you feel about being a voice of reason for your community?
Thank you for saying A. Not the.
No, A.
So it takes off.
It takes all of us, girl. It takes all of us.
On us. Yes, correct. But being a voice of reason just says this, that I have turned my mess, like we were saying, into a message. And so it's not going to resonate with everyone. It's just going to resonate with who it needs to resonate with. So that's why it's important that you and I, we continue to work on our mind, our hearts, our soul, and our body. Because someone is clinging on to who we are and what we're doing until they find their voice, or they just want to see that consistency to encourage them to hold themselves accountable. Holding yourself accountable is damn hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The older I get, I'm like, thank God I decided to do this now. Especially when you're changing your whole life.
Your whole world.
Your friends.
Yep.
Your space.
Yep.
Claiming your energy, saying that it's within me. Like, okay, I did okay. I really did pretty darn good. 80%. But if I just get better friends... If I'm just more consistent with this wellness, you see where I'm going with this?
Yes.
I may have people supporting me on the outside and I'm grateful because it's pushing me forward. But once I get through this process, I'm going to be so much better than what I was because I had people weighing me down.
Wow.
But I had people holding me back so I could never get past that 80%. And two people on the outside, that 80% look like 100%. So that's why you really never got far because people are like, oh, you really do have it together, don't you? And the people that you probably were with was like, oh yeah, she's good. She's good.
And for some people, that 85% is enough.
And okay, now let's talk about that. For some people, they probably felt like, okay, I've been doing enough sweating and I'm really good with that. And this is all I have to say to them. Are you giving your gifts to other people? While you're here on this earth, what are you doing with your gifts? We have
to pay it forward, always.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Correct. And I love how you said that. Pay it forward. Who are you investing in to pay it forward? Or to pay it, how about this? Since you're like, okay, I'm good. Who are you investing in, Faye, to pay it further
forward? That's the key.
There you go.
I'm so looking forward to having you back and talking about God, Afro Pride, talking about all things that you're doing. You have a strong voice and look to assist and help our community, and you care for the world. Who is saving you? Who do you go to?
That's a really good question. The only one that I know that is consistent and loves me unconditionally. And I know some people are like, you can't even really feel God. Yes, you can. When you have been in a dark place or to a point where you describe it as hell, let's just be honest. COVID has been hell for a lot of us.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gotten to this point to sit here with you, to look you eye to eye, if I didn't say, I need something. I need someone
Bigger than you.
bigger than me. You know, that's humility. Okay, great. Because if I was just that good, I wouldn't break down. If I was just that good, I wouldn't have had anxiety. If I was just that good, no panic attack wouldn't have happened. But it's okay. Free yourself and say, I'm willing to be used for more, to have more, to be greater. And so that person I'm talking about is God. For me.
I love that.
I'm serious.
I love that. Listen, whatever you want to call it, spirit, higher power, God, Allah,
is for
whatever.
me the Holy Spirit, higher power, spirit talks to me. Spirit got me
I
through
talk
this
back.
weather. Oh, listen, your angels, your ancestors, whatever. But it's with you, whatever resonates with you. And I like how you said that. Whatever your spirituality is, spirituality adds more faith to self-identity. So whoever's listening to this and they're like, I'm not with that, I just encourage you to discover your spirituality, to have more faith in yourself. And when you do that, you're paying it forward. You're like, who can I help with my gifts?
Yeah.
You know, how can I turn my talents into gifts? It becomes bigger than you. And that's how we break generational curses. We address generational trauma in love, and we move forward.
Wow. So I'm in a 12-step program because I've been in recovery for more than 7 years.
Okay.
And they tell us constantly that, you know, you've got to give away this gift that was so freely given to you. You know, we have to do more. Service is part of our principles. We have to constantly pay this forward.
Yes.
You know, why do you think that people have such a hard time doing that?
They feel like they don't have enough time for themselves. Oh, I give so much. And that's the wrong impression. And we have to change that with perception of mind. By giving of myself, I make room to receive more.
I love that.
That's how it works.
I love that. And God pays you back higher power a million times over.
Each and every time.
Yeah.
Even when you don't intend for him to, he's like, I already got you.
I got you back.
I got your back.
That's incredible.
So, did you enjoy the show? I know you did. So make sure to click subscribe so you won't miss any of the events, news, or interviews right here on the FayWhat show. Ring the bell at the bottom of the screen, right there, so you'll be alerted every time we're live. You can also click on the Happening Out Television Network logo so you can see all of the shows on the most diverse LGBTQ+ media network. Find out just what we're doing to bring the L and the G together right here on the FayWhat show. Get the week started.